And we'll bring up my presentation. So welcome everyone and to tonight's webinar on animal and emotions. Thank you for coming on and participating this evening. And so let's just have a quick conversation about how emotions impact our pets. And then let's do some practical releasing of trapped emotions or communicating with your animals to see what's going on for them. But before we get going, if your pet is having a medical emergency or having any kind of a medical issue, you do want to contact your veterinarian. I don't diagnose physical issues, but I can tell sometimes where the energies are blocked that are helping to create some of the injuries or illnesses, and I can release the trapped emotions that are related to it. I can also provide energy support in emergency situation that can help keep your pet calm and hopefully you too, while you're waiting for vet care. Because I do know that sometimes there it can be a little wait in getting into a vet these days. So helping keep your pet's energy flowing as best as we can help them until you can get to a vet. And for aggressive animals, I do insist that you work with not only a qualified trainer, but one that specializes in aggression. It's really important to work as a team and helping you to overcome an aggressive tendency. Alrighty. So we're just talking before we got started here a little bit about my living on an alpaca farm and naming our animals and all that. But it's been fun being able to communicate with them because I can tell, uh, verify, validate if they like their names or don't like their names, or uh, help people select the right pet for themselves as well, because that's important to try and get the right connection. Um, so as a matter of fact, one of my sisters just got a new puppy from a rescue group, and so it was fun communicating with her about coming to live with my sister, and and the names that she had picked out and which one did she like best. So that was a lot of fun being able to help my sister get a pet that she's absolutely in love with. They're both in love with each other, which is great. Uh, so let's talk about some emotions and how that can impact your pet, especially, well, any pet, just like any of us, we definitely get trapped emotions. And depending on the background of a pet, especially if you have a rescue pet, they can experience trauma and anxiety and stress from changes, from grief, from whatever their background was that could be more challenging. And those create emotions that get trapped because emotions are just chemicals that the body creates to express uh, uh, something that your pet is going through or we humans are going through. and and it can be a memory or it can be currently happening. It doesn't matter. Our body just creates these chemicals that are related to them, and those are emotions can get broken down into being just chemicals. And the negative emotions, the fear-based emotions, are slower moving, so they tend to get stuck in the body easier than the the higher frequency emotions. And animals, they may not have as broad of a emotional vocabulary as humans, but they still can have very strong emotions. There's some very universal emotions, as a matter of fact. Fear is one, as well as grief is another universal emotion that most species experience, and they're both really strong emotions. So change can bring on grief, but it can also bring on some aspects of fear. Any of the other emotions can be very fear based, and most emotions are fear. Negative emotions are fear based. And so when we talk about fear, we're talking about the fight or flight response system. And our pets, they're definitely very wired to that fight or flight response system, as are we. So when they get triggered, uh, again, that brings up the adrenaline. It goes through this huge process, this big process of what's going on in the body. And it usually is a lot of emotion, a big chemical batch. And if we can't process, or the animal can't process all those chemicals out of its body in the normal way through the kidneys, through the liver, through panting, through the skin, whatever, however it can release those emotions, then they get stuck in the body. And they can also create a habit. So they can cause two issues. It can cause a physical issue and it can cause a behavioral issue. So um, when we go to the demos, we can definitely see how by releasing some of these trapped emotions can both be related to a physical thing as well as a behavioral thing. And those can be and statements. They don't have to be necessarily one or the other. It can be one or the other, but it's quite often an and statement. It can cause a physical problem and a behavioral issue. So, how we see it, we humans finally recognize it. It can happen either way too. It can all of a sudden be your pets exhibiting potty issues, or again, it could be a physical one where they're throwing up, or having more accidents, diarrhea. It could be something like that. That would be an indication that there's too many, they've had too many strong emotions. We need to clear those out and then help rebalance their digestive system. Another common one is over grooming. That's another very common one. An OCD like behavior. They can develop OCD. So the over grooming is an example of that, and how too many emotions. They're trying to expel those emotions, and it's creating a lot of anxiety, and they're trying to self-soothe. So they somehow, just like we get in, a human can get into an OCD pattern, that can create one as well. So we want to get rid of those trapped emotions. Uh, so I like to release as many emotions as I can. And that's usually my path. My introduction with a new pet is just to start releasing the trapped emotion. That builds uh, a bond, because they recognize quickly that, oh, this feels good having this emotion released. I feel a little bit better. My energy's flowing better. And then they usually start communicating to me more. They give me a thought or two about whatever it might be happening, a hit of something that's going on that they want to share with you. But I do that. My usually introduction with them is to do something nice for them, which is to release those trapped emotions. Uh, so things that you can do, because I really like for you to have some tips and tools that you can use with your pet. And the number one is just to breathe. Really, our pets recognize our stress level a lot. And so if we're under a lot of pressure, or we're worried about them, they feel that energy, and may cause them confusion because they may not understand why we're breathing more shallow. But that to them is a sign of stress and anxiety, and something they need to be on the lookout for. There's something that's scary out there that's causing mom or dad to be upset because they're breathing more shallow. So if you can calm yourself down by breathing more fully, your pet will go, "Oh, okay, that feels better. Mom and dad are now feeling a lot more calm. So whatever dangers out there must be gone." Right? So you want to try and keep your breathing going more fully. They will feel it. You can actually rub your hands together, and as you do the full breathing, the vibration comes out to your hands. So they can feel it. They'll quite often, if you rub your hands really fast together and hold it out to your pet, they'll come over and sniff your hands, but they're not really smelling anything. They're sensing the vibration more than the smell, that it's creating an odor. It's creating a vibration that they can actually sense and feel, and they use their nose to go, that's interesting. So try it. It's very interesting. And sometimes they'll give you a little lick because it feels good. It's a very high frequency energy, especially if you're breathing fully. I like to watch my language, not that not for swearing purposes, but to tell them something that I really do want. They don't tend to hear the negative. So if for my alpacas, a good example is, and they were doing this tonight, as a matter of fact, they were spitting at each other at supper time. And so if I said, don't spit, they actually spit more because they hear just spit. So if I tell them, keep that in your mouth, they are more likely to keep it in their mouth. So I have to word things. Animals are quite literal. So we want to be very clear with what we're thinking to them and saying, communicating to them. And I do like to think it to them versus my outside voice a lot of times, because the our animals can develop a little bit of a vocabulary and understanding of our words, but it's very limited. So my dogs will hear blah 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 cookie blah blah blah, and they hear cookie, and they'll go, "What? How do I get a cookie?" And they're so focused on listening to another word that they understand, that can help them understand the linkage to the cookie. What is she talking about? Am I getting a cookie, or is she just talking about cookie? They're looking for another word, that they're not listening to what the other words are saying. But if I think it to them, I'm sending a picture of them. Temple Grandin wrote a book about called Thinking in Pictures, so about writing or communicating with animals. And it's about thinking in pictures. They pick up the picture. So thinking it from mind to mind, plus they are also picking up the emotions associated with it. So it's it's really great to think it to them. Sometimes they'll say it out loud just to clarify, am I saying it the way I want to say it? And then I repeat it in my mind of mind to them, and they will hear that much more clearly. I like to tune myself to peace and calm. So if my pet is anxious, I like to think peace and calm, and that helps them. Again, by thinking it for yourself, you're tuning and sending, getting chemicals brewing in your body that are those emotions. So peace and calm is a very high frequency. And by then breathing and picturing it, sending out to them, they're receiving it. So you're doing an actual energy work, and you can do it. You don't have to be an expert and had spend thousands of hours practicing it like I have. Just trust that it works, and observe, because you'll see it's quite effective with our pets and helping them calm down. So just breathe and send peace and calm to them. And then I just like to, what, I just really like to just have the full intention of spending time with them, and being in the moment with my pets. I turn everything else off and just focus in on them for a couple minutes. And when it's great for me, it actually helps to reduce my stress and anxiety and depressions or other my worries. And I just tune all that out, and I just spend a little bit of time breathing, petting them quietly, calmly, uh, but really eye to eye contact, just really spending a few moments sharing that love, that heart to heart connection. And one the bond just deepens when we do that. One other little trick that I do with my pets that really help them is, if they walk in the room, I acknowledge them. I go, "Oh, hi, Tesla," or "Hi, Bailey," before they even look at me. And sometimes they catch me first, but I try to greet them like greet me at the gate if I come home. I want to be excited and happy to see them. And by doing that, again, they wag their tails. They acknowledge, they love to be acknowledged that they've come into the room. They love to be acknowledged. And and it's taught me to be more like that with humans. As a matter of fact, it's taught me to be a better human around others. So it's a good practice, and they love it. And it just, again, deepens your bond. Even if you have a really close, deep connection with your pet, it doesn't hurt to go deeper with them. And it really is wonderful. And it's great for you. Again, it's really gets your it's like getting my own antidepressant, anti-anxiety medications, and I can do it as often as I want because I can't overdose on it. And that's how I manage a lot of my stress and anxiety, is I use my animals that way. And it's a win-win. It's not I'm not By doing that too, we're not using them as an energy vampire where we're bringing out our stress onto them. We're actually raising our vibration because we're using the love or above chemicals. So if you stay on for the healing circle, which we're going to do right after this webinar, I'll explain that to you more about how we can tune ourselves to those higher frequencies. And then it's really the best antidepressant medication you can take is by just tuning yourself to those higher frequencies. And again, our pets pick that up beautifully when we can tune ourselves to those higher frequencies. Let's see. So if you need some support with your pet, uh, And especially if I've worked with you already, the quick cleanse package is perfect for pets because their attention span does not is not very long. It's like a toddler. So I've got about 5 minutes or so to actually clear and remove some of the trapped emotions, and they're done. And they also know how to work with me very quickly. So I can actually quite often get, if you have more than one pet, I can get two pets sometimes in that 15 minutes because they really don't have a very long attention span. And again, they work with me very quickly in releasing the trapped emotions as well as retuning their system. So it doesn't take very long to help them at all. Let's see what else. So future events just in the near future. So this Saturday, we're having a healing circle. We're also having one immediately following the webinar. And the next Wednesday, no webinar, but we will have a healing circle. So that's a guided meditation for folks who may not know what that is. I take you on a guided meditation, and then my guides and I mute ourselves once you go into a quiet state as well. And we my guides and I do a lot of healing in the group. So also, I have a new group called Heal the Healers. It's on Zoom. We switched days. It used to be on the fourth Thursday. We switched it to Mondays, the fourth Monday, and we switched it to an evening time because that was by request. Everybody, those who have been attending preferred switching it to an evening time. So the next one will be Monday, March 27th at 6 p.m. This group is for people that are not just healers like myself, but anybody that does a lot of caregiving, that's an empath, that really uh, expends a lot of energy on others and forgets to take care of themselves. So if you're getting burned out, exhausted all the time, overwhelmed, stressed out a lot, this is a good group for you. It's not where we do a lot of talk therapy kind of a thing. It's a little different. I do a little experiential exercise with you that's a little more um, we engage your right brain. So we do some creative work, and then which talks and connects you to your subconscious. So I do some exercises that bypasses the lizard brain that gets into the actual stress centers or where your higher thinking center is, and help analyze what that is so that you can have a path that's not fear based, but a path that takes you to your higher purpose and higher self, and hopefully can give you a sense of refueling yourselves as well. And then also, Jen Weigel and I just set a date for the next intro to animal communication class. We've been teaching this class regularly lately because we keep selling it out. So we'll keep on teaching it as long as people want to keep coming. So the next one is April 11th. It'll be at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and it'll be on her website that you sign up for it. She hosts it. Um, so in the follow-up email, I'll send you the link to her page that gives you the information on how to sign up for that class. It's a lot of fun. And so far, knock on wood, we've had 100% success in teaching people to communicate with their pets. So, alrighty. With that, I'm going to stop my share and open it up to questions if anybody has one. Okay, so Jen Schroeder. Okay. I'll see if we have time, Jen. If not, we'll see what we can do about, hopefully we have time to get your pet in there too. Um, so anyway, let me see who we have here. Is Tanya on? Let's see. Yeah. Tanya with Lily. Is Tanya on? I don't see her name on my list here, but I don't have. If you are, unmute yourself. Nope. Okay. Well, let's go to the next. If you're here, you can put it in the chat box that you're here, Tanya. Is Kristen here? Yes, I see your name, Kristen. Hey, Kristen. If you want to unmute yourself, I have your pet. Millie, is it? Let me share my screen for Millie. Are you there, Kristen? Do you have sound voice capability? No, I muted myself. I mean, I can't see the chat box. Are you there? Can you unmute yourself, Kristen? You can't. Okay. So I'm going to have to go to the chat box. Everybody take a good quick look at Billy. What a pretty dog. Okay. So if you go to your chat box, is there something going on with Millie? If you put it in the chat box. It's a little harder for me to connect without the sound, but we'll see what I can do. Can you anxiety with grooming? Okay. So let's see what we can do about anxiety. And is this grooming for yourself or taking her to a groomer? Taking her to a groomer? Yeah, okay. So okay. That's usually a multiple deal because it's created a habit of fear. So I can release some of the trapped emotions that are related to it, but then we have to change the behavior around it. So that this is Mal is she is she food motivated? Kristen, is she food motivated? Yes, okay, good. So I'm going to release some of the trapped emotions, and you might want to just, if you have time, to do it slowly, where you can, after we release the trapped emotions, take her there and maybe even just stop in front, give her some treats, and then leave. If you can get her out of the car, walk up and down without even going in, give lots of treats, and then leave and build up. And then once she seems better about that, walk in and then leave. And just try and go slow about it. See how she does. I'll also suggest another technique for you, a modality that will be of great benefit that can help you. But let me clear the trapped emotions first. Okay. So we will release some of the anxiety. Yeah, the smell. She doesn't like the smell of the place. I'm probably because of the shampoos. Also, it's kind of like the vet where there's a lot of fear. She's smelling the fear of other animals, so she's sensitive to that. So she goes, "Oh, this is a scary place. Other people are scared." And also the noises, the dryers, all that stuff is very scary. She doesn't understand it. Um, so let me clear a little more fear and confusion. Okay. And the part of the confusion is she doesn't um she doesn't like uh or she doesn't understand why she needs a bath because she likes it when she smells. She doesn't mind it at all. I mean, that's what a dog's supposed to smell like. It's not supposed to smell all pretty. That's part of it. She goes, I like my smell. And she doesn't like the I don't know if they have a shampoo that is doesn't smell as much. I might ask about that because that's part of the problem is the smells in there are so strong. Remember our pets, our dogs, some especially some dogs are thousand their nose is 1,000 times stronger than ours. So if we smell something strong, it's just like overwhelming and overpowering to the pet. And it's just almost I wanted the word that came in was intoxicating, in that it muddles up the rest of her senses. And also she's saying that it takes time for it to settle down. It gets permeates so long into her nose and that she can't smell anything else, and that is so unsettling to her. Because does she smell and sniff around a lot? Does she use her nose? Just on walks and stuff, is her nose always going? Yes. So yeah, so it's kind of like blinding her, and that's really anxiety provoking through. I know one time I got sick, really sick, and my intuition shut down because of it. My third eye got so clogged, and I was so wiggy until and it really it showed me how much I depend on that sense, just as a matter of course, and walking around and dealing with people. And when I felt blinded, I was like I couldn't tell what was going on intuitively for several days, and oh, that was horrible. I don't want to experience that again. So that's kind of what it reminds me of is that when she gets this overpowering sense of smell, it really so I don't know how that can change because those places just have a lot of smells in them. Uh, other than at least on her, if they can use a shampoo or that is less smelly, that might help a little bit. Let's see. These so there's can't leave her alone or she'll bark. Would like to know what she needs, wants from me. Um, eh, are you two related? uh, no, it's a different pet. Okay, okay. So all right. So the modality that I would also encourage you to look into, because you want to trigger her calming system. You want to do that breathing and all that. Well, that we talked about those tips, but look into a modality called T touch. And I'm going to let's see. Yeah, I gotta change this to everybody. There we go. T touch. TTOUCH is what you want to look into. I'm not certified in T-Touch, but check it out. There's some YouTubes, and what it does is it triggers the calming system. And this is probably true for everybody listening right now, is you want to get your pet that is especially anxiety prone to calm down and help them trigger their calming system, which is the parasympathetic system. So T touch can help you do that. And it's just a very light touch. There's some good YouTubes for T touch for dogs, T touch for cats, for horses, pretty much any of the pets out there. You can see how they do it. And again, you don't have to be an expert at it. We just want to get those calming chemicals going. What I recommend is you do it instead of petting, just to introduce how it feels and then build up. So you don't want to do the first time they experience T touch when they're in that absolute fear state. So not when you at the groomer. That shouldn't be the first time she experiences it. Start doing it now before she has an appointment. Just keep doing the T touches. And again, I switch back and forth with my guys. I switch over to and start petting them, and or instead of petting them, I switch over to T touch, and it creates a Pavlovian response. Then it turns those chemicals on. They love it. And so again, their body naturally starts doing the calming chemicals instead of the fear-based chemicals. My golden retriever that gets really scared in storms and fireworks, I start doing the T touches. It gets her calmer faster. It doesn't prevent the fear from happening, but we can get them out of that fear state much faster. So start when they're at home and feeling safe and happy. Do the T touches, introduce how good that feels. A lot of times they'll turn their bodies around and if they want to walk away, I always let them, so that when they are so that they can learn that they have some say. And a lot of times when they're walking away, they're just helping to move that energy around in their body, and then they come back and say, oh yeah, do some more of that stuff. So just try and do that with them, and so you can put that calming chemical into their body. And again, just go really slow if you can. We release some of the anxiety. We understand better what's so overwhelming for her. I wish there was a way to pinch the nose, but there isn't. Swimming, you can put the little nose plugs on, but that won't work. So just try what you can with her on that. Let me know too. We can probably have to clear because there's a built up of that anxiety and association with it. Let me also just communicate to her one more time about that it's for her own good, for her well-being. You're not doing it out of punishment. that it's for her.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Any questions on that?
I just figured out my volume. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Better late than never.
I appreciate it.
Okay, good. All righty. So let's see. Is Tracy on? Oh, there's Tracy. All right. You're the hi. I do have Layla. Okay. Can you unmute yourself, Tracy?
Can you hear me?
I can. All right.
Okay.
Yay. Okay. So, and we have Layla here. So everybody can take a look at a little cutie pie here.
Yes.
So what's going on with Layla?
Well, I wrote that other little thing in the chat. There's a lot of things going wrong with her because going on with her, I should say. She has a lot of medical issues, and she's a little over 12. And I have literally, she had a very hard start in life. I won't go through it, but I was like her fourth owner in 2 months.
Oof.
So I will tell you that she was not properly weaned, taken away at 3.5 weeks from, her mother, and then to the first owner for a week, and then so on and so on till I got her. And she's, of course, has a lot of anxiety about being left alone. So it's been her whole life, and virtually, because I love her so much, unless I can find a pet sitter, I either have to take her with me everywhere, or if I can't, I stay home. So it's been difficult, but I don't care because she's the most important thing to me. That's it. I love her so much, and she's, wonderful, but I just wish that she could understand that if I leave, I'm coming back. I'm not leaving her. And also I'm wondering really what she needs from me to be happiest for the rest of her life, what she wants, what she needs,
Okay. Well, again, I would check into that T-touch as well because that's going to help. It works at the cellular level, and again, that because of her start, that attachment just didn't. That is ripped away. That first chakra is so distorted, and so, and at 12 years old, I don't know how much I can repair, to be honest with you. But the good news is by adding in these chemicals as much as you can, I would do as much T touches on her as you can. Uh, Work the ears. If she likes her ears worked, really work inside the ears because there's all sorts of pressure points. It can help with the physical stuff as well. So if there's arthritis, any aches and pains, that can help keep the energy flowing better. It's different than massage and petting because the petting works at the muscle and tissue level, or yeah, muscle. You're kind of massaging the muscles, whereas the T-touch is working at the cellular level. So it's actually triggering more it's triggering that calming system, that parasympathetic response system. A lot of time the massage is more triggering the adrenaline system, believe it or not. Even if it's a kind of a gentle massage, it can feel good, but it's just different. So the T-touch, and there's nothing wrong with doing both, but the T-touch can really, really help with a lot of different issues going on, but it's also really great for animals that have been anxiety prone. And what happens with Layla, because of the weaning too young, her digestive system, because she's been in anxiety state pretty much her entire life, the digestive system gets turned down to minimal. It's like having the burner on low when you're trying to digest food. So her digestive system is just never been able to fully digest food, which can then, because she's not pulling the right nutrients out of her food, it's a burden on the kidneys and liver. And I'm sorry, just listening for a second. Um, um, there's a burdening of her whole system, which can then, and she's not pulling enough of the nutrients out of the food, which means that not all the organs are getting the proper nutrients that need to function properly. So that can lead to a lot of physical and health issues that she's been facing. So again, lots, and I'm getting the chills. So I'm telling you the right thing here. So you want to do lots and lots of T touches on her, especially around the ears, if she'll let you, if she likes that. just go up and down the spine as much as you can, triggering, again, it just helps keep all of her chakras and system trying to flow as best it can. She's not able to maintain that on her own, that balance system. So that energy flow is not able to balance because she doesn't really know how to turn on the calming system herself. So you have to teach her. She may learn how to start doing it, or she will like it. So she will get calmer and ahead of time. I would also encourage you to do the tea touches before and after she eats so that we can get that digestive system to work as fully as we can. So she can start digesting that food a little bit better and hopefully help her uh, pull the nutrients out and then digest it. There's a lot out as far as I'm feeling her liver is a little off, her kidneys are off. So all the organs that have to um, process the extra chemicals and stuff, the nutrients, the food that she can't digest properly, then the liver and the kidneys have to try and send it out. So they're maxed out. So let me do a quick clearing of those. So kidneys, 5 and right kidney, clearing that. I like to do both kidneys, just even if one is working better than the other. I'm feeling the discomfort on the left kidney. I don't know if you've noticed anything. Does she drink a lot or,
She does. She does. She's got several things. She's got Cushing's disease and IBD. So she's on hydrolyzed food right now. So you got that, and also she has an enlarged liver and a small mass on her spleen.
so yeah, so all the filters, those are all the
Yeah.
filters. So let me clear the liver. And spleen, we can clear the spleen. Okay. So I would definitely, if you wanted to keep working with me, we would want her on the 15-minute package because she's so over the threshold. And again, a lot of these early issues, especially with the digestion and getting weaned too early, can and when our bodies don't digest food and they do lead to these autoimmune diseases, which are like Cushing is I believe, an autoimmune issue. So, it's just because the body the adrenals have been taxed to the max, everything. So we want to just kind of keep clearing trapped emotions and rebalancing, clear trapped emotions and rebalance, retune, retune, retune. What you want to look for after this, and then I wish I would have wanted to spend a whole 15 minutes on her really to clear more out of her and rebalance her. Um, but you hopefully will still see that she just feels a little calmer, brighter, a little happier, feel a little bit better in her body just off of the little bit of clearing I did. Let me also clear some unsupported, clearing that. And that's from early on. And plus her body just isn't supporting her right. And I'm also going to abandonment, clearing that, and anxiety. Oh, there's a nice little shift. Okay. I did get a little shift in energy. That's what I always like to feel when I clear for an animal, that they get some energy flow. So I got a little bit for her. So she should feel little bit happier and more, just feel a little better in her body. So look for any of those signs. When I'm working with them, they might yawn, lick, uh, stretch, pass gas. Sometimes they pass gas after I clear. A lot of times they just fall asleep. So any of those signs are also indicators that they accepted the energy. But I did feel a nice little shift, so she was listening and engaging and letting me clear stuff for her. So I would love to continue working with her. I think we can help her. The attachment stuff. Just keep doing tea touches with her. Use your thoughts and tell her I always come home to you if you have to step out for a little while. Uh, she's not going to believe you, but
Well, I always have to have someone stay with her. I
oh,
can't, I just can't leave her alone. This is what I'm saying. I can't. I live in an apartment complex, so she will start barking.
Barking
Plus,
and
I
making,
don't want to stress her any further.
right, any more anxiety. So yeah, well, even when you leave her with somebody, that causes her a little anxiety. So just mind to mind. I come home. I always come home to you, and let her know that. But we can work with a little bit more on that. But that's a bigger issue right now. I'm kind of more concerned about her health stuff. That was really very forefront in what I was picking up from her, and that could also help. So
She
thank
just yawned, by the way.
you. Good,
If it helps. I just thought I'd tell you.
good, good, good. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we got a little bit time. Lynn, let's bring in Wes. Got Wes here. Did Wes? Oh, wait, oops, there. I didn't hit share yet. Okay.
Oh.
I love his sweater.
It's cold here.
Yeah. It looks like you knitted it for him.
No, I didn't.
Maybe that's what I should learn how to do with my alpaca fibers. Learn how to knit sweaters for our doggies. Okay, so what's well, I know a little bit of Wes's history, but could you share a little bit what you need me to?
Yeah, so he has, he's got a lot of anxiety. But one thing I was wondering that I've noticed is that I haven't mentioned to you is that if he's sleeping in his bed, and I go to bed, usually he'll just come in. He'll follow me. I'll say, let's go to bed, and he'll follow me, and he's happy to do that. I pick him up because he obviously can't jump on the bed. But what I've noticed, if he's laying in his bed and I go to pick him up, he growls at me. And this is something that's probably about the last 3 months. So I stopped doing it because I don't want him growling at me. But I did it the other night because he got off the bed in the middle of the night, and I didn't know he got off, which is very unusual for him. And he was laying in his bed, and I thought, oh, I'll pick him up and put him back on the bed, and he growled at me. And I'm like, so I just put him back down. I'm just wondering why he would do that. It's not something he always did. And like, what is he thinking? Why is he?
Okay.
It's never an issue, and then all of a sudden it became an issue. And I think the first time I was taking him out of his carrier, and he snapped at me, and so I just left him. And then another time I was picking him up out of his bed, same, like he was growling at me, and I don't know why.
Okay. So I would go back. Okay. You attended the introduction to animal communication class. So use your sway test and ask him when you go, instead of just picking him up because he finds you being rude, because you're
Well, I
disturbing
find he's
him.
being rude.
Yeah, well, when a dog growls, it's because they're warning us and saying, "Hey,
Yes. Yeah.
that's is not what I don't know what you're doing, and I don't like it because then this is my safe spot." The
Yeah.
their bed is kind of their safe haven, and he's comfortable, and you're disturbing me. I'm all comfy. So in you're not telling them ahead of time. You're not like asking, can I pick you up?
Hmm.
Can you
Okay.
do you want to join me in bed? Because there might be a time when he goes, I don't want to go to that bed. I want to sleep here. So uh unless you insist on him sleeping with in the bed with you and there's a good reason for it, you could just use your sway test and say before you
Yeah.
pick him up, and that's a good practice. And it also it increases your bond with them because it's a sign of respect for their feelings as well. Is just
Yeah.
to ask them uh beforehand, it's bedtime, do you want to go to bed with me? Do you want on the big bed? And you can ask a sway test. Oh, yes, okay. Then is it okay if I pick you up because I need to carry you out to bed? Or you could follow me. You might be okay. Follow me to the bed, and then I'll pick you up. Whatever it is, but you can practice some of the yes and no questions with him.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes, when you're sleepy, you're half asleep, and somebody disturbing you, he
Mhm.
kind of gets a little grumpy.
Well, that's what I was thinking, but he wasn't always like that. And I thought, why did that is it just he got a little bit older? So yeah, a little bit more like,
A little bit older, but also, uh, it's a backhanded compliment in that he trusts you more.
oh, to be mouthy.
Yeah, yeah, to be a little mouthy with you, and that you're not going to, just say, the heck with you, you're gone. You're
Right.
done with me. But that's still not appropriate behavior either. But I
No.
think if you can, we want to stop it before it starts. So I think it's kind of triggering a little bit of a response from him when he's sleepy. When you're just when a dog is dead asleep, it also pushes his vulnerability a little bit, just to be picked up, a little guy like that, just to be picked up, especially off of his safe place. It's also a little bit of territorial thing. This is his spot, and how dare you step into my spot. So that part is rude. So I'm going to let him know. I'm going to communicate some of that to him, that that's kind of rude to growl, but also that you understand why he's upset a little bit better. There's a nice shift. What else? Clear from that. A little, I get a little unsupported, but it's not really that. It's more. Um, I don't know the exact emotion that I'm getting off of him. It's not betrayal. It's He just sees it as disrespect. I don't know how else to put it. That
And I
it's
know he felt
irritating.
bad the first time he did it. He felt really bad because he came right out and he like it freaked me out. It was like, what just happened? And then he came right out of
Yeah,
his carrier and he sat beside me. I know he felt bad when he did it, but I just couldn't
okay.
figure out why he's doing it.
Well, again, it's some of it. It's a there's a complex stuff happening. So some of it is because he's had so many changes. Again, so
Yeah,
his trust isn't always there, and it's somehow triggering that mistrust. By doing that, by taking him out of where he's feeling safe.
yeah.
I
And he
think.
does. I have 3 carriers and he just goes from one to the other because he really feels comfortable in them.
Mhm.
And he'll just like flip around to each of them.
Right. And so when they're tired and sleepy, that's what I want to clear, vulnerability. He feels vulnerable, at getting pulled out of there, especially when he's sleepy and tired, and taking him
Okay.
out of a safe place. And he's going, what the heck? So, it's more about just doing it a little slower and gently instead of just picking him right up, because that's kind of
Yeah.
rattling him. So and it's good practice for you.
Mhm.
Use your class that we practiced on, and that it actually will build the bond even deeper when you can actually communicate with them and get a yes no. And even if it's like, well, no, we need to go. You don't get to have a a say in it necessarily, but it's like, okay, let's wake you up. Would you like me to pet you for a second before we go to bed?
Okay, I'll do that.
Or it just may be, are you okay with him sleeping in his carrier? And then it might be where that night he doesn't want to sleep in, he might want to just sleep in his safer place. Maybe he just felt a lot more vulnerable that day, and he
Mhm.
needs to be in a more secure place, and being up on the bed may not be the most secure place because it's harder for him to get down off of there and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that for
So
sure.
just be aware that, he's a vulnerable little guy, and it's that we still have a lot of stuff to work through with him. And
Mhm.
sometimes if he's feeling in that vulnerable place, he wants to be in his safe place, which is probably where he chooses to sleep. Is that, pets are going to go to the place they feel most safe to sleep in.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, try and be, that's where it's good to be on the other side, trying to see things through the pet's eyes, uh, and then build the bridge to where what we want them to do instead of just saying, "Down, I want, it's time." I know I did last night with one of my dogs who was not minding me. Oh boy. I did not follow my own advice.
Oh, really?
And it didn't work well. So, and I knew better. And so there's times when we both just, you're tired. It
Yeah,
happens. We're both wanting to go to bed and let's just clash. So
yeah.
it happens to all of us, but it does work a whole lot better if we can stay grounded and do the breathing and
Mhm.
ask them a question. What's the heck's going on with you? What can I do to get this to be a different outcome?
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. We're almost at the top of the hour. Safina, I think we have a couple minutes for yours. All right.
Thank you. Right now I can hear Molly's, she has Cushing's and she had pancreatitis before that and she's on the Veterol and even though it's extremely low dose, she is having tummy stuff and I can hear her stomach. Her stomach's been going for a while right now, so I can hear it.
Okay, so let me try clearing uh, exactly what I said to the others. T-touch is going to be a good friend of yours. You
Yeah.
want calming and energy again before and after she eats. That can help with her digestive system. Work the ears as much
Yeah.
as you can. So let me clear what we can for her to just help calm her tummy down. Some anxiety. There we go. Worry, clearing that. Unsupported. Again, the body doesn't want to support things. Frustration, clearing that. Ah, there. Felt a nice shift with her. Um, Again, I would, if you can see if she should look a little calmer if you can see her at all.
She's still lying in her little doggy bed here beside me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get there. There, right there. Yep. Yeah, little tummy ache still. So let's clear. Is she also a rescue?
She wasn't a rescue. I'm the first owner. She was 8 weeks old, but like I said, she came from a puppy mill
Oh,
that I found out years later it was. And so I
okay.
don't think she was treated well. And she didn't have a voice. She was crying the whole time.
Okay. So a lot of those puppy mills, they overbreed and then mom doesn't have proper nutrients or hasn't had time to replenish her own nutrients. So by the time this litter comes through, she's on minimal nutrients. So then the puppies don't get the full nutrient that they
Yeah.
need to get, to have a healthy start. So she just started off really with not
Yeah, she did.
enough nutrients in her system, which, that's just, you know, sets you up.
Yeah.
So let me clear. Let me clear the first chakra because that would be first chakra, but it's an overall system issue. Again, your T-touch, you want to just keep working on the whole system for her. It's a system problem. But let's hearing unsupported. There we go. And there's another sigh. I felt like she had another nice big shift just by clearing that early trauma. That's like a birth trauma. Let's clear birth trauma. Yeah, so like mom's milk just didn't have all the adequate nutrients either. So
Yeah.
those are hard things to undo, but what we need to do then is just try and keep her system moving as best we can. That would be like regular clearings. We just want to keep clearing and regular do daily tea touches as often as you can. With these animals that have these autoimmune issues, it's like you can't do enough of that. Keep that system flowing with the calming system as much as you can. It's like getting an IV of good good nutrients, good chemicals in their system that can help them feel better. And it may not undo all the damage that has been done over the years, but at least they can, at least with our pets, if you can give an opportunity to feel better, they just make the most of it. And that's what we want. We want to give them as much quality of life. We may not be able to fully heal things, but we can give them as good a quality of life as we can,
Yeah.
support their body as best we can. And that's kind of where we're at with a couple of these your pets today. We want to get them as feeling as good as we can, and they live in the moment. So if they feel good, well, they'll make the most of it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's exactly what we want for them.
Yeah. Hmm.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Any other questions? Because we are at the top of the hour. Sorry I didn't get to everybody's pets. Thank you for all of you for sharing your pets with me. That was that is usually the best lessons on how these emotions work as they do these demos. So thank you for sharing your pet. It helps. As you can see, a lot of the issues are uh, very common amongst you. So the techniques work the same for all and how they can benefit everybody. So you're sharing your pets with others can really help others as well as your own. So thank you for that. Any last questions? Okay. So again, if you need any help from me, my website is yourenergyhealer.com. You're welcome to check out my services. When I send the replay to you all, I'll include links to everything. So you don't have to go hunting around unless you want to. Let's see. So with that, we're going to go into the healing circle. So I'm going to stop the recording.